Good morning. I'm Dr. Samuel, and I've spent over 4 decades working with aging adults in clinical medicine and movement research. Today, I want to challenge something that many of you have been told your entire lives, something that might be making your body more fragile rather than more resilient. You've been told that exercise needs to hurt, that you need to push harder, go faster, lift heavier. But what if I told you that for your nervous system at this stage of life, gentle movement sends a far more powerful signal for longevity than aggressive exercise ever could? I want you to think about something for a moment. When you were younger, your body could recover from almost anything. You could push hard, feel sore for a day or two, and bounce back. But now when you push too hard, what happens? The soreness lasts longer. The recovery takes weeks instead of days. You might even avoid moving altogether because you're afraid of that pain returning. This isn't weakness. This is your nervous system doing exactly what it's designed to do. And understanding this difference could change everything about how you move for the rest of your life. Let me explain what's actually happening inside your body when you choose gentle movement over aggressive exercise. Your nervous system, particularly as you age, operates on a fundamental principle that researchers call neuroception. This term was refined in gerontology studies published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity in 2022, and it refers to your body's unconscious ability to detect safety or threat. When you perform harsh, painful exercise, your nervous system registers this as a stressor, as a threat. Your body doesn't distinguish between the stress of an intense workout and the stress of being chased by a predator. It releases cortisol, it tenses your muscles, and most importantly, it begins to shut down non-essential functions to protect you from what it perceives as danger. Now contrast that with gentle, controlled movement. When you move slowly, when you can breathe easily throughout the movement, when there's no pain or strain, your nervous system receives an entirely different message. It perceives safety. And in a state of safety, something remarkable happens. Your body shifts into what we call the parasympathetic mode, the rest and repair state. This is when healing occurs. This is when your cells regenerate. This is when your brain forms new connections. A study published in Neurobiology of Aging in 2023 demonstrated that older adults who engaged in gentle, mindful movement showed increased neuroplasticity markers compared to those doing high-intensity interval training. The gentle movement group actually showed better cognitive outcomes over a 12-month period. But here's what fascinates me most as a clinician. The benefits of gentle movement aren't just about avoiding injury, though that's certainly important. It's about something much deeper. It's about proprioception, your body's ability to sense where it is in space. Every single day in my practice, I see patients who have lost this sense. They misstep off a curb they didn't see. They reach for a railing that's slightly farther than they thought. These aren't vision problems. These are proprioceptive failures, and they're one of the primary reasons older adults fall. Gentle movement, particularly slow, controlled exercises where you're paying attention to every sensation, rebuilds proprioception in ways that rapid, repetitive movements simply cannot. When you move slowly through a Tai Chi sequence, when you carefully shift your weight from one foot to the other, when you deliberately reach and feel the stretch, you're sending thousands of signals from your muscles, joints, and tendons back to your brain. You're building a detailed map of your body in space. Research from the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy in 2021 showed that adults over 65 who practice slow, deliberate movement exercises had a 42% reduction in fall risk over 2 years compared to those doing conventional strength training. Let's talk about balance for a moment, because this is where the magic of gentle movement becomes most obvious. Balance isn't about strength. I see this misconception constantly. People think if they just strengthen their legs enough, they'll have better balance. But balance is primarily a neurological function. It's a conversation between your inner ear, your visual system, your proprioceptors, and your brain. This conversation needs practice, but it needs the right kind of practice. When you move too quickly, when you're breathing hard, when you're fatigued, this delicate conversation gets disrupted. Your brain can't process all the signals fast enough. But when you move gently, when you challenge your balance in a controlled way, Standing on one foot for a few seconds, shifting your weight slowly, walking heel to toe with intention, you're training this system optimally. I had a patient named Margaret, 73 years old, who came to me after a fall. She was terrified. She'd been doing a popular high-intensity senior fitness program, pushing herself hard 3 times a week because she thought that's what she needed to stay strong. After her fall, she fractured her wrist and she came to me asking what she did wrong. I asked her a simple question. I said, "Margaret, when you're doing these exercises, are you thinking about your body or are you just trying to keep up?" She paused and admitted she spent most of the class just trying not to fall behind, trying to match the pace of the instructor. She wasn't feeling her body, she wasn't present, she was in survival mode. We shifted her entire approach. We focused on gentle yoga, slow walking, careful weight shifting exercises. Within 4 months, her balance scores improved more than they had in the previous 2 years of intense training. More importantly, her confidence returned. She wasn't afraid of her body anymore. She trusted it again. This brings me to circulation, and this might surprise you. Many people believe you need to get your heart rate elevated significantly to improve circulation. While cardiovascular exercise certainly has its place, gentle movement improves circulation through an entirely different mechanism, one that becomes more important as you age. Your lymphatic system, which is responsible for removing waste products and toxins from your tissues, doesn't have a pump like your heart. It relies on muscle contractions to move lymph fluid through your body. But here's the key. Gentle, rhythmic contractions are actually more effective at lymphatic drainage than intense, exhausting exercise. A study in experimental gerontology from 2020 found that moderate, gentle movements sustained over longer periods produced better lymphatic flow and reduced inflammation markers in older adults compared to short bursts of intense activity. Think about this practically. When you take a gentle 30-minute walk, breathing comfortably, your muscles are contracting and relaxing in a steady rhythm for the entire duration. This creates a sustained pumping action that moves lymph efficiently. Compare that to 10 minutes of intense exercise where you're exhausted, breathing hard, and then stopping. You've created a brief spike in activity, but you haven't given your lymphatic system the sustained, gentle rhythm it needs to clear waste products effectively. Over time, this difference becomes substantial. Better lymphatic flow means less inflammation, less swelling, better immune function, and improved tissue health. Now, let me address something that concerns many of you: brain health. You've probably heard about exercise and cognitive function. The research is clear that movement helps prevent cognitive decline. But what kind of movement is most beneficial for your aging brain? This is where recent neuroscience research has given us fascinating insights. Studies published in the Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience in 2024 used functional MRI imaging to observe brain activity during different types of exercise in adults over 65. What they found was striking. During gentle, mindful movement practices, areas of the brain responsible for spatial awareness, memory consolidation, and executive function showed significantly more activation than during intense aerobic exercise. Why would this be? It comes back to attention. When you're doing gentle movement, you can think, you can notice, you can be present with the experience. Your brain is actively engaged in processing sensory information, making micro-adjustments, creating new neural pathways. When you're doing intense exercise, especially exercise that exhausts you, your brain actually simplifies its activity. It goes into a more primitive mode focused on survival and energy conservation. Both types of exercise release beneficial neurochemicals, but only gentle movement allows for the kind of engaged, conscious practice that builds cognitive reserve. There's also the matter of neuromuscular coordination, which is distinct from strength but equally important. As we age, we don't just lose muscle mass. We lose the quality of communication between our nerves and muscles. This is why you might notice that your movements feel less fluid, less automatic than they once did. You have to think more about movements that used to be effortless. This is neuromuscular decline, and it's a normal part of aging, but it's not inevitable that it progresses rapidly. Gentle, varied movement is the most effective way to maintain neuromuscular coordination. When you perform a movement slowly with control, your nervous system has time to recruit muscle fibers precisely. You're teaching your nerves and muscles to work together efficiently. Think of it like a conversation. If someone is shouting at you, you might understand the general message, but you miss the nuances. If someone speaks to you clearly and calmly, you catch every word, every subtle meaning. That's the difference between aggressive exercise and gentle movement for your neuromuscular system. Research from the Journal of Applied Physiology in 2023 demonstrated that older adults practicing slow, controlled resistance training showed greater improvements in motor unit recruitment patterns than those doing conventional, faster-paced strength training, even though both groups built similar amounts of muscle. I want to be clear about something. I'm not telling you to avoid all challenging movement or to never elevate your heart rate. What I'm saying is that the foundation of your movement practice at this stage of life should be gentle, controlled, and mindful. You can certainly include some more vigorous activities if your body tolerates them well, but they should be the exception, not the rule. And they should never cause pain, prolong soreness, or make you fearful of moving. Here's a question I'd like you to reflect on. When was the last time you moved in a way that felt nourishing rather than punishing? When was the last time you finished moving and felt energized rather than depleted? Your body is giving you feedback constantly. Pain, exhaustion, prolonged soreness, these are not signs that you're getting stronger. They're signs that you've exceeded what your nervous system can process as safe. And when your nervous system feels unsafe, it protects you by creating tension, reducing range of motion, and eventually making you want to avoid movement altogether. The most successful patients I've worked with over the years share a common trait. They've learned to listen to their bodies with curiosity rather than judgment. They don't push through pain because some fitness instructor told them no pain means no gain. They understand that their bodies at 65 or 75 or 85 need a different approach than they did at 25. This isn't giving up. This is wisdom. Let me share what a sustainable movement practice might look like for you. Imagine starting your day with 5 minutes of gentle stretching, nothing intense, just mindful movements that help you feel your body. Then perhaps a 20 or 30-minute walk at a pace where you can hold a conversation comfortably. A few times a week, you might practice standing on one foot while holding a counter, challenging your balance safely. Maybe you explore Tai Chi or gentle yoga. The key is consistency and presence. You're not training for a marathon. You're training for longevity, for independence, for the ability to play with your grandchildren or travel or simply move through your day without fear. There's also compelling evidence about inflammation, which underlies so many age-related diseases. A comprehensive review in Aging Cell Journal from 2022 examined the inflammatory markers in older adults across different exercise intensities. The researchers found something counterintuitive. While moderate intense exercise reduced some inflammatory markers, it also temporarily elevated others, particularly when performed frequently. Gentle, regular movement, on the other hand, showed a consistent reduction across all inflammatory markers without the temporary spikes. Over time, this creates a significantly different inflammatory environment in your body. Less inflammation means better cardiovascular health, better joint health, better brain health, and likely a longer, healthier life. I think about the patients who come to me feeling defeated. They've tried the gym, they've pushed themselves, they've followed programs designed for people half their age, and they've ended up injured, discouraged, or simply exhausted. When I introduce them to the concept of gentle movement, there's often initial skepticism. They worry it won't be enough. They worry they'll lose strength or fitness. But within weeks, sometimes days, they feel the difference. Their sleep improves because their nervous system isn't in constant recovery mode. Their joints feel better because they're not being constantly stressed. Their mood lifts because movement becomes something they look forward to rather than dread. What I'm describing isn't a trendy new approach. It's actually based on understanding how your autonomic nervous system works, how your body perceives and responds to different types of stress, and what conditions allow for optimal healing and regeneration at this stage of life. The science is quite clear, but it goes against so much of what our culture tells us about exercise and aging. We're bombarded with messages about pushing harder, fighting aging, refusing to slow down. But what if slowing down, what if moving more gently, is actually the path to remaining capable and independent far longer? Consider your breath for a moment. If you're exercising so hard that you can't breathe comfortably, you're triggering a stress response. Your body interprets that oxygen deprivation as danger, but when you move at a pace where your breath remains calm and steady, your body interprets this as safety. In safety, healing occurs, adaptation occurs, growth occurs. It seems too simple, but this is fundamental physiology. A calm breath during movement signals to every system in your body that all is well, that resources can be allocated to repair and regeneration rather than survival. As I close, I want you to think about your relationship with movement moving forward. You have a choice. You can continue to approach exercise as something you must endure, something that should be difficult and uncomfortable, or you can approach movement as a practice of self-care, of listening, of honoring where your body is right now. Both paths involve movement, but only one creates the internal environment for true longevity and vitality. Research consistently shows that the people who remain active and independent into their 80s and 90s aren't the ones who push the hardest in their 60s and 70s. They're the ones who found sustainable, enjoyable ways to move their bodies regularly without injury or burnout. I encourage you to experiment this week. Notice how you feel after different types of movement. Pay attention not just immediately after, but the next day, the day after that. Does this movement leave you feeling restored or depleted? Does it make you want to move more or avoid movement? Your body is remarkably intelligent. It's constantly giving you information. The question is whether you're listening. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'd be very interested to hear about your experiences with gentle versus intense movement in the comments below. What has your body been trying to tell you?
This video contains health-related information created with the assistance of artificial intelligence. If you believe you may have a medical concern, we recommend consulting a qualified medical professional.